Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current and latest news. As again, if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscriber to the channel as always. So I'm going to give you a bit of an update today on a bit of a transfer rumours that are currently going on, and there's obviously some news that's been regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, and Alexis Sanchez and all that as well. But there is lots to talk about on this current video. So we start the topic of the development in relation to Alexis Sanchez. Reports are coming out in the media reportedly saying that Man United are prepared to let Sanchez go out on loan next season, reportedly, because obviously it will be hard, for us to basically, find a buyer for Alexis Sanchez, because obviously his wages are extortionate, because obviously he's on over £500,000 a week, and of course he's our highest paid player, he's the highest paid player for us, and he's the highest paid player in the Premier League, of course, as well, and he's struggled to really make an impact, since he's come to Manchester United, Alexis Sanchez, to be quite honest with you, and I think Solskjaer's happy to let him go. As I said, he's no longer under Solskjaer's plans, is Alexis Sanchez, as I said, and he's been here just, over a year, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United, of course, as well, and he's really, really struggled, as Alexis Sanchez, he's been very, very inconsistent, when he has been playing, and I do think he'll end up losing that number 7 shirt, to be quite honest with you, and of course, he's got a couple of injuries, he's obviously injured now, he's got a knee injury, so I think he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, as well, but obviously it will be hard for Manchester United to find a buyer for him in the summer, of course, because obviously his wages are absolutely extortionate indeed. So I think Man United are planning, to get rid of him and put him out on loan in the summer as well. Of course, he's age 30 now anyway, and he has lost that yard of pace as Alexis Sanchez. And he's well Premier League proven because he was very, very good when he was at Arsenal, but he's failed to replicate that form at Manchester United. To be quite fair, and he's been here just over a year, and I think Solskjaer's lost faith in him, and he's lost trustworthy in Alexis Sanchez. To be quite honest with you, so I do think he's on his way out of Manchester United. To be quite honest with you as well. So he is out for 4 to 6 weeks now, as it stands, with a knee injury as well. But going into the Wolves game on Saturday, as we all currently know, this Saturday in the FA Cup quarter-finals, it is a huge, huge game. Wolves on Saturday, the preview will be coming up for that, later on in the week. We know it's going to be a big, big game, and we know it's not going to be as easy as we think, because Wolves are in really, really good form, to be quite honest with you. They're playing really, really well under Nuno Santo. Is that he's got a middle name, but I can't really pronounce his middle name, to quite honest with you. And he's got Wolves to 7th in the table this season. Obviously, he won the championship with Wolves last season as well. So Wolves are having a really, really good season. So we know it's going to be a very, very difficult game indeed. He's progressed them to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. He's got them in the top 7 of the league as well. And Wolves' record against the big teams this season has looked very, very good indeed. So they are playing really, really well, Wolves, and so we know it's not going to be an easy game. And we know Manchester United, of course, have had a lot of injuries, as we all currently know. I think there has been reports coming out in relation to Jesse Lingard, Herrera and Juan Mata. I think they could be in contention, to play against Wolves on Saturday as well. So that is some good news that we have currently, because we know that we have been missing Jesse Lingard, and we know how good he is on that right-hand side. When he has been playing on that right-hand side, when he has been fully fit, Jesse Lingard's still young in his generation. He shows that ability to attack, score goals and all that as well. And I think he plays balls very, very good, and I think he creates that width very, very well, because he provides a lot of pace, but he also provides then score goals as well, Jesse Lingard. So he has been a big, big miss as Lingard, but I think now he has come in training, as it does say, in relation, but he's mainly, obviously he can actually play as an attacking mid, but obviously mainly has been playing on that right hand side, Jesse Lingard, as we all know, when he has been playing, of course. In relation to Juan Mata, of course, he's got hamstring injury as well. I said he's lost that yard of pace now, and obviously Jesse Lingard's mainly been preferred option under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, before we got these string of injuries, mainly Lingard has been first choice over Mata, but Mata's still a very, very consistent player, as I said, because he can play in the attacking mid. He can also play out on the right wing as well, just like Jesse Lingard can. But Mata's aging up now. He is age 30. We know he's lost that yard of pace, as I said, Juan Mata, but he's still been a very, very consistent player. For Manchester United. The number of years he's been, he has grown, developed, and flourished fantastically well, and he's well Premier League proven now. And I think he's had a good pedigree in the Premier League. Now as a player, Juan Mata. He hasn't won the Premier League as yet. Juan Mata, of course, as well. But yeah, reports say he could be returning, for the Wolves game as well, which is very, very good. And hopefully, Ander Herrera as well, can feature in this game against Wolves as well, because Ander Herrera's obviously, been out with a hamstring injury as well, and he's been a big, big miss in that midfield, because mainly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I did say before, all these string of injuries we've got and all that, the main midfield trio Solskjaer was going with was obviously Herrera, Pogba and Matic, because, they've looked very, very effective in that midfield as a trio, Herrera, Matic and Pogba and all that as well. So it would be good news if Herrera, could come back, because he's always been a consistent player for Manchester United, but since Solskjaer's come in, when he has been fully fit before, he got this hamstring injury, he's been playing regular, he's been playing a big part in the team as well as under Herrera, so I've been very, very impressed with his performances indeed, and hopefully somewhere along the line, we can come to an agreement of getting him a new contract as well, because he does, deserve it, based on his fantastic performances, and this is what his 5th season now at Manchester United. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances as well, so I have been very, very impressed with Ander Herrera's performances as well. Of course, there's been Phil Jones as well, has been out for quite a bit. He's obviously been ill as Phil Jones, so there has been talks, could he be involved against Wolves as well, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously seen Chris Smalling has recovered from injury. Has obviously since Smalling's recovered from injury, Solskjaer's obviously been selecting Smalling and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership. Even though I did initially say I would prefer Bailly and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, because I still think even though Bailly's been in and out of the team this season, he's still got great potential as Eric Bailly, and I think he's a good composed defender, Eric Bailly. But I think, to be quite fair, since Smalling's recovered from injury, I think his performances have really, really improved, to be quite honest with you. And I think he's blended in well at the back, alongside Victor Lindelof as Chris Smalling, to be quite honest with you. So could now Eric Bailly, lose his place in the team, to be quite honest with you. But reports do say that Phil Jones could he maybe be involved against Wolves. I think he's been part of the training complex as well as Phil Jones as well. But we know Phil Jones has been here since 2011, or is it 2012? He's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Smalling's been here since 2010. So this is like Smalling's 9th season now here at Manchester United, of course, as well. But probably more than likely for the Wolves game, we'll probably stick with the same back line as he has been doing most recently. Smalling and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, Young at right back, Luke Shaw at left back. So more than likely he'll stick with the same back line. He may not, but I think he will, to be quite honest with you. But now if Herrera can be involved on Saturday against Wolves, and that means he's obviously, recovered from injury, he'll go back to the midfield trio and he'll start playing that midfield trio regular, as he did do before all these injuries, came up in the process. He'll obviously go with Herrera, Matic and Pogba in that midfield. Of course, if Herrera is okay, to play against Wolves at the weekend. Of course, I hope Lingard, can feature as well, as I did say, because Lingard's been very, very consistent indeed as well. So hopefully somewhere along the line. But we do know now Martial's back from injury, which is very, very good news indeed. And he's been very, very good, when he has been fully fit. He's been looking very, very good on that left-hand side as Anthony Martial. Still young, still got a lot of years ahead of him, as I said, as Anthony Martial, of course, as well. And he provides that width very, very well on that left-hand side as Anthony Martial, of course, as well. So it's good that he's back. It's good, obviously, Nemanja Matic is back from injury as well, because he was out with a muscle injury. He's now back, Matic. Had a disappointing game against Arsenal, but obviously, just recently recovered from injury, to be quite honest with you. And I think Matic's performances mainly, have improved, since Solskjaer's coming in. I've got strong reservations by him. He does look ineffective at times in that midfield, like he did do against Arsenal, but he's aging up, he's tall. I do have strong reservations about him, but I think his distribution's improved. He has looked more effective in his passing as Matic, to be quite honest with you as well. So it's good to see that he's back now anyway, and I think he'll get back to playing, the way he was playing, before he actually, suffered that muscle injury, the Nemanja Matic as well. So I do expect to maybe a couple of more players, to recover from injury, for the Wolves game as well at the weekend. For the Wolves game as well at the weekend. The preview will be coming up later on in the week, as I said. But yeah, I think we're still on course, as I currently said. We are still playing really, really well. It was disappointing, to lose to Arsenal at the weekend, as I currently said. Over the course of the 90 minutes, you could say probably, Arsenal just shaded the game in terms of balance of the play and all that. But don't forget, Manchester United at the weekend against Arsenal, we still had 7 players out, so there still were injuries there. But we saw, obviously, Martial come back into the team. Well, he didn't start, but he came as a sub in the second half. We saw Matic in that midfield as well. As I did say, he looks very, very ineffective, against Arsenal, to be quite honest with you. I thought Fred had a poor game. For me, I don't know if Fred's a long-term solution, to be quite honest, because he really failed to make an impact, when he has had the chance to play, which hasn't been often. But Fred has, struggled to really, really make an impact. So I don't know if he's a long-term solution, Fred. But in the first 25 minutes of that game, Arsenal were totally rampant in the first 25 minutes. They came out of the blocks, dominating the possession. De Gea didn't really have much to do in terms of making like any world-class save. They did have quite a few shots in like the opening 10, 15 minutes, but a lot of them were off target. As I did currently say, the Arsenal did expose us at the back in like at least the first 15 to 20 minutes. As I said, the pace of Aubameyang and Lacazette, were causing problems, for Smalling and Lindelof as well, in the first 20, 25 minutes and all that. And as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, he pinpointed them big chances, that we had in that game. We must have had about 5 big chances in that game. Lukaku had 3 big chances of his own, and Lukaku's been in really, really good form lately. To be quite honest, he's been in really, really good form. And as I did say, he was unlucky not to get his name on the score sheet, as I said. And I think him and Rashford look very, very good as a partnership. And I think he'll probably go with Lukaku and probably Rashford as a partnership, against Wolves, as I said, because I think Lukaku looks very, very effective when he's got support up front, and I think he's a much, much better player when he's on his own up front. He's not as reliable, to make all them sprints and get them runs in behind. But I think if he's got someone supporting him, with the likes of Rashford, I think Lukaku performs better. To be quite honest, he has been in really, really good form. Romelu Lukaku. To be quite honest, I know there has been rumours that he could, leave Manchester United in the summer, and he's indicated that he does want to make the move to Juventus. Lukaku, if Manchester United do decide, obviously, to sell him in the summer, probably will be hard for us to recoup the initial 75 million pounds we paid for him. As I said, we know he's slow and his first touch does concern us, and he does seem to bottle it a lot in the big game, as I said. But he played really, really well against Arsenal. It's just his finishing let him down, to be quite honest with you. Rashford didn't have a bad game. It wasn't his best. He didn't have a great game, but I thought it was all right because he created a few chances of his own as well. Did Marcus Rashford, as I say. Pogba was very, very quiet at the Emirates. I don't think he was playing to his potential level against Arsenal as well. Obviously, he was fully prepared for the game. Obviously, he couldn't feature against Paris because obviously he was suspended as well. Paul Pogba. So Pogba wasn't his best, to be quite honest with you. But I thought the best player for us, was Romelu Lukaku. Rashford had an okay game. I don't think Smalling played that well. I don't think Lindelof played to his potential either, to be quite honest. But there was some good individual performances, but I think, there was a lot of them, were quite poor. I think our midfield were very, very slow and, lethargic, especially in that first 25 minutes, to be quite honest with you, because Arsenal dominated in the first 25 minutes. And then after 25 minutes, they were sustaining attacks, maintaining a lot of pressure. They did have chances, but David De Gea didn't really have to make any world-class saves. Xhaka, I'm not going to criticise David De Gea because he's been fantastic for us, and it just happens in football. He did that ball, and it went into the back of the net, and I think it did wrong-foot De Gea, to be quite honest with you, as I said. But David De Gea, apart from get the ball out of the back of the net, I don't think De Gea had really much to do, to be quite honest with you. That was 1-0, and then after 25 minutes, we got back into the game. We had chances. I thought the performance was okay. It's just obviously, the result was disappointing. As obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was saying, he was reflecting on the game. Obviously, he was happy with the performance. Obviously, not happy with the result, and he was pinpointing, the chances that Manchester United had in that game as well. I thought the penalty in the second half was very, very harsh as well, to be quite honest with you. For me, Lacazette went down far too easily. Fred, for me, hardly touched him, to be quite honest with you. So you could say the ref cost us. You could say the Lukaku's chances he missed cost us in that game as well. But obviously now our 100% winning record away from home is currently now over as well. So it's only our first defeat in the Premier League under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, it was always going to come to an end, as I said. But we still did have basically 7 players out in that Arsenal game as well. So anyway, we move on. We go to Wolves at the weekend, as I did say, the Champions League draws coming up on Friday as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who we get in the Champions League draw, as I said. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has done a really, really good job, since he's come to Manchester United. He's brought the fluidity back to the team. It's good that he's giving the young players a chance. He's not reluctant to give the young players a chance. He did say anyway, regardless of what injuries we've had, he was going to give everybody the chance, including the fringe players, the young players, and I'm happy to see he's got belief in a lot of the young players as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. I think he's the right man for Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. He will get the job on a full-time basis with Solskjaer as well, because his managerial style totally suits the club. I think he's a good tactician as well, and I think he knows what he's doing. I never criticise his tactics because his tactics are always right, as I said. And I do, Solskjaer, as I did say, and as reports have been coming out about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said, I updated you on my first video today that I currently did as well. Obviously, we've got the international break coming up very, very soon. As I said, so our actual next league game is on the 30th of March. As I currently said, reports do say that Manchester United want to name Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as permanent boss. You know, during the international breaks, obviously. It will process it will process during the international break, and obviously Manchester United will come to an agreement, you know, to give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis, and this will be through the international. This will be during the international break, of course, as well. As I did currently say, it did say Man United were set to have a contract renegotiations anywhere with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said. So by the time we play Watford at Old Trafford, Solskjaer should be Manchester United manager permanently as well. Obviously, Manchester United are going to have to pay a compensation package. I think it did say 6 million at one point, but I think it's around £7-8 million, you know, we have to pay to Moldham or something like that. I think it did mention the contract is going to be around a 4-year contract, is it? Or something like I think it's a 4-year contract worth around £30 million. I think it did say there's bonuses involved as well, as it did currently mention. His annual salary, 7.5 million, which is obviously a year. So obviously he's happy to accept a lower wage package than what currently Jose Mourinho was on, because Mourinho was on 15 million a year. And of course, you know, Solskjaer's going to be getting reportedly 7.5 million a year. So Solskjaer is going to be receiving half of the wages than what currently Jose Mourinho was currently earning as well. And yeah, so it is a 4-year deal. But obviously it was only on £400,000 a year with Mould. So in terms of, you know, his wages, what he's going to be getting at United when he's permanently manager, you know, that's a big pay rise, you know, compared to what he was on at Mould as well. Solskjaer did confirm himself, you know, his contractual situation with his former club Mould, saying that his contract had expired with Mould and all this, and he actually said this in his press conference building up to the Arsenal game as well, that his contract with Mould has expired. Well, with his former club Mould had expired, even though Mould did remind him that he's still initially under contract with them until 2021 as well. But from Solskjaer's perspective, you can't have two contracts, and this is what basically, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is currently saying in the process as well. But for me, definitely the right man for Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. You know, you can see the vast improvements, you know, since he's coming. As I said, you know, we've only lost 2 games. We've lost 2 games in all competitions, only 1 league defeat. As I said, and he's done really, really well. He's made the name for himself already since he's come to Manchester United. You know, obviously making Premier League history as well. You know, making Champions League history now as well as a manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, because obviously that's his most iconic moment now as a manager, you know, the Champions League of course as well, and he did it when he was a player. One of his most iconic moments was in the Champions League in 1999, of course, which was 20 Sorry guys, internet went off. So we know he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree at the moment as it stands in like terms of like winning silverware and all that, as I said. But as I did say, I think that will come. Obviously, we know that investment is definitely needed in the summer. Solskjaer himself is obviously going to have his say on our transfer plans in the summer. We are going to get a spending spree in the summer as well. But we've obviously got a board that will invest in what, you know, who Solskjaer, you know, wants to bring into the club in the summer as well. Of course, we do expect departures as well, as I currently said. But obviously, it is essential that we get that Champions League for next season anywhere. As I said, it is essential that we get that Champions League for next season, of course, so we can have more of a competitive summer transfer window. And yeah, so I think, you know, top 4 is definitely still on without a shadow of a doubt. I think we can definitely, you know, win the Champions League, and Solskjaer believes, you know, we can win the Champions League as well. And we've got a great chance of winning the FA Cup, so I do believe that Solskjaer can start winning trophies as Manchester United manager, because we can still win the FA Cup, we can still win the Champions League, and as I did currently say, you know, we know investment is needed into Manchester United. As I did say, I've already identified, you know, the areas we know where we do need to strengthen up and bolster up, as I've already explained to you. But because we do expect departures in the summer, there's still some contract renewals out. There's still some contract renewals to sort out as well. But Solskjaer, you know, we need to keep him. You know, he knows everything about the club. You know, obviously from being a great player for 11 years, you know, obviously he's going to know about the club as well. Obviously then going on to manage the reserve team as well, he's obviously going to know more about the club in that aspect as well. So for me, he's the right man, as I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Manchester United. He's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy, as I said. He's got his little loan, but I think he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. As I said, he's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And, you know, you can just see he's got the fluidity back to the team. The structure of the team's right, the cohesion of the team's right, and every single one of them players enjoy playing under him. Of course, Sanchez is the only player. He's the only player that's not been performing for Manchester United since he's come. But the rest of them, you know, have been absolutely fantastic indeed as well. So, a bit of transfer rumours. I do want to give you an update on, as I currently have said, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, guys. In the last couple of days, I do want to give you an update on in relation to Philip Coutinho, because his name has been mentioned in the last couple of days as well in the media. Reports do say in terms of Liverpool and all that, if Coutinho was to leave Barcelona, reportedly, if he was to depart Barcelona in the summer, reports do say Liverpool would lose millions in clauses. Reportedly, something to do with bonuses they missed out on, or something like that. I don't know the full story, but reportedly this is estimated at around 17.6 million. So reports do say if he does leave Barcelona and he comes to Manchester United route, then Liverpool would lose millions in clauses. I think it's something to do with bonuses, as I just said. But reports have been coming out, and narratives been coming out about it, especially in the last couple of days, that I think Coutinho wants to make a return back to the Premier League. I don't think Manchester United probably will go for him in the summer, to be quite honest with you. But his name has been mentioned that he has been linked to a move to Old Trafford. You know, we heard about this, back in the January transfer window as well, that Coutinho was, linked with a move to Old Trafford because he's endured a very, very difficult time with Barcelona at the moment. He has been at Barcelona just over a year as well as Philip Coutinho, and he has struggled to replicate the form he did at Liverpool. He struggled for regular game time as well as Coutinho. But reports have been coming out in the last couple of days, reportedly saying that Coutinho has reportedly spoken to some of the Manchester United players, regarding a move to Old Trafford in the summer. Reportedly, he did say he would be available for around £100 million or something like that. So is Coutinho the solution to our problems? I don't really think so, to be quite honest, because mainly he's an attacking midfielder, and obviously we don't even need an attacking midfielder. Coutinho can actually operate as a winger as well, but he's still in his mid-20s. He's obviously still got a lot of years ahead of him, as I said. But I think he is considering leaving Barcelona in the summer as well. But obviously, he's the third most expensive player in world football, is Philip Coutinho, because obviously he cost £142 million. That's how much Barcelona paid to Liverpool in January of last year, of course. Well, so he has been at Barcelona like 13 months, 14 months now as Philip Coutinho. But yeah, he was really, really good at Liverpool. He had 5 great years with Liverpool. As I said, Coutinho, he was really, really good with Liverpool. He obviously, at one point played for Espanyol as well on loan when he was younger. He actually began his senior career with Inter Milan as well, because Liverpool paid £8.5 million from Inter Milan. So Liverpool got 5 great years at him. So in terms of finances then, Liverpool made a huge, massive profit on the player by selling him for around £142 million. And he is a very, very good player. And I think, he's got good future, be a good addition, if he did come to Old Trafford as well. I think it's unlikely it will happen, but there has been rumours, going on about it as well in the last couple of days. And it did say if Coutinho, this would be from Liverpool's perspective, they'd be disappointed as well, because reportedly they'd lose millions in clauses if Coutinho was to depart Barcelona, reportedly as well. I think it's something to do with bonuses or something like that as well. So there has been rumours going on about that in the last couple of days. More rumours have been going on about him as well. We know other targets that have been mentioned as well, as I have been keeping you up to date in relation to Jadon Sancho as well. It still says Manchester United have identified him as a summer target as well, Jadon Sancho. And I do really, really like Jadon Sancho, to be quite honest with you. Again, he's very, very young. He's only 18 years of age, so he's still very, very young as Jadon Sancho. And I think since he's broke into Borussia Dortmund first team, reportedly his performances have been fantastic indeed of Jadon Sancho, to be quite honest with you. Reports did say, was it last week or something like that reportedly Manchester United were preparing to pay up to £100 million for Jadon Sancho. Reportedly, this does mean if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, and we were willing to pay that £100 million, this would make him the most expensive English footballer ever. It would obviously be our most expensive signing as well, and obviously in the Manchester United team. But it would probably take a bid of at least £70-80 million, to tempt Borussia Dortmund, and to obviously convince Borussia Dortmund to sanction him off. I think he's actually happy at Borussia Dortmund, as Jadon Sancho, to be quite honest with you. I do really, really like him. He also mentioned that PSG had also showed an interest in Jadon Sancho as well. But reports do say Man United have identified him as a summer target, and he is a winger as well, and we do need someone on that right-hand side as well. So I think he'd be a good solution, for our problems on that right-hand side, to be quite honest with you. I think he'd be really, really good, and he's only 18. Of course, he's had experience of playing in English football in the past, because because he served a couple of years with Man City. As I said, he never got into the first team with Manchester City, Jadon Sancho, but he served a couple of years. He actually began his youth career with Watford, where he served a number of years at Watford as well, Jadon Sancho. But yeah, I do really, really like, Jadon Sancho, really, really good player. He's now under contract with Dortmund till 2022, don't forget him as well. Borussia Dortmund would financially make a huge, huge profit on the player if they were willing to do business for him in the summer, because obviously Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Manchester City a couple of years ago as well, so they'd make a huge, huge profit. And Borussia Dortmund have been known, for doing business with their players in the past, as I've already explained to you. Bamian, 58, 59 million pounds are sold in for. Hussein Dembele, they sold him for around 105, 106 million to Barcelona as well. So they have been known, for doing business with their players, Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund know how much of a central player he is to them. So it would take a huge, huge bid, to even convince, Borussia Dortmund of getting rid of him. As I said, I think City themselves would benefit from it if Manchester United were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, because City, I think, do have a buyback option on the player as well, because I think it did say they'd receive around 15% of the transfer fee, because reportedly they inserted a 15% sell-on clause in terms of the deal as well, reportedly as well. So there has been a lot of rumours going on about Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. It's been going on for a while now. To be quite honest with you, at least 4 weeks I've been hearing about it now, or at least 3 weeks, should I say, as well. So there has been a lot of rumours going on about that. Of course, Manchester United have been keeping tracks on Joe Felix as well. He's another player I've been keeping you up to date on as well. That young Joe Felix as well. Only 19 years of age, as I said. Only broke into the Benfica first team last year as well. Did Joe Felix. I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest. I know he's only 19, so he is very, very young. I know he's versatile, but I think he's mainly a winger, this player. Manchester United did instruct scouts, to keep a close eye out on him. And Man United scouts have been watching this Joe Felix on a regular basis, because reportedly since he's broken into the Benfica first team, reportedly his performances have been very, very good indeed. This Joe Felix, he would cost staggering amounts of money as well, because I think he's got a buyout clause of around 105 million pounds or something like that as well. But there was a narrative going on about in January that a few teams had been interested in Joe Felix as well. So Man United have expressed their interest in him. So is he a possible summer target Man United may go for? And we know as well, as I actually updated you on back in the January transfer window as well, who else Manchester United showed an interest in as well. That Stephen Bergwijn, however you pronounce his name, that PSV winger I updated you on, because in January there were quite a few teams interested in him as well. I think PSV demanded that they wanted around, was it £25 million or something like that for Stephen Bergwijn, or £30 million or something like that. So it probably would take a bid in the excess of around £30 million to convince PSV, to sanction him off in the summer. Reports do say Manchester United have been interested, Liverpool have been interested in him. I think Tottenham have had an interest as well in Stephen Bergwijn. He's a PSV winger. I think he's still got a contract with PSV till 2022. He is age 21, so he is young as well. I don't really know much about him, but I give you an update about him in the January transfer window as well. He's called Stephen Bergwijn. He's 21. He's also Dutch as well, and he has got a contract with PSV till 2022. He's an ex-Jong PSV. Used to be at Jong PSV, obviously I think in their reserve team. He was actually an Ajax player during his youth career as well with Stephen Bergwijn, and after Ajax he went to PSV, during his youth career as well. Did Stephen Bergwijn, so his name's been mentioned quite a few times as well. We do know reports as well have been coming out, as we all currently know, guys, in relation to Gareth Bale. There's been, as I did update you the other day, there's been rumours going on in the last couple of days, in relation to Gareth Bale as I do want an update on, because reports came out of the media a couple of days ago. I did give you an update on that. Reportedly, Gareth Bale, according to Dan Ball, the Spanish publication, reports did say that reportedly Gareth Bale had reportedly purchased an house in Manchester, reportedly, and it allegedly said that reportedly Gareth Bale had agreed personal terms, with a summer transfer to Manchester United, reportedly. And we have been hearing the narrative, we have been hearing the rumours, since the David Moyes era, we've been hearing the rumours, with Gareth Bale being linked with a move to Old Trafford and all that as well. As I did update yesterday, obviously Real Madrid have just reappointed, Zinedine Zidane, so now he's got a second spell in charge of Real Madrid, as I said, because Real Madrid have just sacked Santiago Solari, so now they have got Zinedine Zidane back, as I said. So could this change things? As I currently said, I'm not too sure if Bale had a good relationship with Zinedine Zidane or not. I don't really know, to be honest with you. But Bale, anyway, either way, has fallen down the pecking order at Real Madrid, as I said. And there has been rumours that Florentino Perez wants Gareth Bale out of Real Madrid in the summer, reportedly. I think it will be hard, to be quite honest, for Real Madrid, to recoup the initial 85, 86 million, whatever it was, they paid for him from Tottenham back in 2013 as well. But reports did say Manchester United were willing to pay up to 60 odd million pounds for him. But from Real Madrid's perspective, they demanded that they wanted around 100 million pounds for Gareth Bale as well. So I doubt Manchester United are going to pay that for him. And either way, I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United anyway. I do think he's a good player, and his ratio's still very, very good, And all his silverware he's currently won has obviously, become at Real Madrid as well as Gareth Bale, because this is his 6th season now in the process with Real Madrid, is Gareth Bale. And his still ratio's very, very good. His goal scoring form's still being very, very good. But I wouldn't want him at Manchester United anyway, because obviously he's aging up. He's 29. He's nearly 30 years of age. Obviously he's got a record of injuries as well, so he is injury prone as well as Gareth Bale. So I wouldn't want him at Manchester United anyway, to be quite honest with you. But I think recent reports did say he was happy in Spain, but now there's rumours coming out saying that he could make a return back to the Premier League as well. Obviously, when he was younger, he had 6 great years with Tottenham, did Bale. He actually, began his, as a youngster, he began his career with Southampton as well, Gareth Bale. And obviously, his wages, I think he's one of the highest paid players in world football. He's on about £650,000 a week, is Gareth Bale as well. But there has been moves, linking him with a summer move to Old Trafford as well. But I wouldn't want him at Manchester United, to be quite honest with you anyway. So there has been rumours, going on about that. This headline of this video is the Man United transfer news. As I said, it's giving you a bit of a build-up, to the Wolves game on Saturday. It's not my preview, but the preview will be coming on later on in the week. It's just give you that, I think, some of our players, like the likes of Lingard, Herrera, Mata, could be in contention, to play against Wolves at the weekend as well, which is very, very good news indeed. So, and the Champions League draw's coming up and on Friday, and the ties will be played, I think, is it on the 9th or 10th of April, or something like that as well. We'll do with the reaction for that, obviously, when the draw has been done, as I said. Any other transfer rumours to update you on? There's nothing much more to really say, and we know, obviously, we've been linked to quite a few defenders as well, because obviously we do need a strong central defender as well, and we know Koulibaly is obviously a Manchester United, one of our summer targets as well. He's obviously our number one priority target for the summer as well, Koulibaly, because obviously Manchester United have been linked to him, for the past couple of windows. Koulibaly, he's still age 27, is he, or is he 28, or something like that? So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and we know it would take an offer in the excess of around at least 90 or 100 million pounds, to get Koulibaly in the summer, or to convince, Napoli, to do any business. Because obviously, we had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. The recent one, of course, was 95 million pounds. Well, but Napoli was standing firm and they were being ruthless, and they weren't willing to do any business in the January transfer window, as the Napoli president did confirm himself as well. But yeah, Manchester United, have been heavily linked to him because he's versatile, he's tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. And I think his performances under Maurizio Sarri are very, very good. Now his performances under Carlo Ancelotti are very, very good. But he has still got a contract with Napoli till 2023 as Koulibaly as well. So we have been linked to him for the past couple of windows, as I currently said. But as I did say, he's still got a contract with Napoli till 2023. Napoli only paid an initial £7 million for him, as we all know from Genk anywhere. Yeah, it was from Genk, wasn't it? So financially, they'd make huge profit on the play. But I think he's going to remain loyal to Napoli, to be quite honest. I think he loves Napoli. I think he's fully committed to Napoli, to be quite honest. And he's never played in the Premier League, so it would be good for him, to experience the Premier League Koulibaly, as I said. The rumours do continue to persist, to be quite honest with you. Well, before they did, I haven't heard much news about, the Koulibaly news as most recent, to be quite honest with you. So he may stay on Instagram as well. At one point, I think he felt unhappy, with Napoli, due to that racial abuse he suffered back in December of last year. But obviously he's moved on from that. And I think he's happy at Napoli, to be quite honest. But obviously, if we don't get him, there's other alterations, we've looked at as well. If we don't get Koulibaly in the summer as well, and we've got the financial power, of course, to meet valuation, as I currently said. But yeah, players are going to leave in the summer. As I said, I've already given my news of what players I do think are going to leave Manchester United in the summer. Valencia is going in the summer for definite. I think Darmian's going in the summer as well. So that's two players that I do think that are going to leave Manchester United as well. Sanchez, he'll be going in the summer. We'll send him out on loan because it'll be hard to find a buyer, as I said at the beginning of the video. Lukaku still if and buts if he's going to stay or going to go. I'm not too sure because his form's been rejuvenated since Solskjaer's coming in. He's been in great form of recent anywhere. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But for me, as I did say, the international break's coming up very soon, and Manchester United want to name Solskjaer as permanent. So Manchester United want to name Solskjaer as permanent manager, during the international break. So it will process throughout the course of the international break, and then by the Watford game, he should be Manchester United manager permanently as well. So Man United want to confirm this before our next league game, which is actually Watford at Old Trafford as well. So anyway, guys, as I did say, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing,